stuff. And oh man, did we have a blockbuster trade go down not that long ago between the San Antonio Spurs and the Toronto Raptors. The San Antonio Spurs have now sent Kawhi Leonard. Yep, they sent them away up north to the Toronto Raptors in exchange for DeMar DeRozan. Now, going with Kawhi Leonard is Danny Green, and the Toronto Raptors are also sending Joel Pokia, and a protected first round pick for next year's draft. I do apologize for butchering the name. Don't blame me. I went to public school in the inner city. It is what it is. But the two biggest names are obviously DeMar DeRozan and Kawhi Leonard. And this is somewhat shocking, yet not surprising. Shocking in the sense that the Toronto Raptors just joined the fold not that long ago in the Kawhi Leonard talks. Everyone during this offseason, when Kawhi voiced his frustration and wanted to leave San Antonio, the front runner and favorite was the Lakers. He wants to go home to LA where he's from, and the Lakers were always a front runner. You had teams like Philadelphia and Boston kind of join and say, hey, what about coming to us, right? And the San Antonio Spurs saying, well, we don't want to trade him anywhere west, especially to our rival, the Lakers. Okay, makes sense. But if Kawhi Leonard is going to be a free agent next year, and he's letting people know, I want to go to LA, so there's no real point in you trading for me. I'm just going to be here for a 1-year rental. Most teams then said, well, we're not going to go ahead and just unload the Brinks truck on you. Well, I guess it wouldn't be the Brinks truck. I guess it would just be offload the truck. You get the reference. We wouldn't just be doing that for a 1-year rental. Fair enough. But then when the Toronto Raptors got involved, you're thinking, okay, now that LeBron is in the West, that does kind of leave the door open for the East. You got the Boston Celtics. Okay, they're the favorites. But it's not like a closed shut case for them. Toronto's been the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference before. They've had some great seasons the past couple of years. Their biggest kryptonite has been LeBron James. Take him out the fold. Hey, wait a minute. What can this team really do now? So let's make a big move. Didn't think it was going to be DeMar DeRozan, especially after DeRozan signed a 5-year extension in 2016 with the team. DeMar DeRozan is the Raptors' all-time leading scorer, and his entire run in Toronto, he has stated he wants to build a legacy in Toronto. He loves the city, loves the fan base, loves the franchise, and wants to stay there and build something. He's also from LA, and many people felt that when he came up for free agency a couple of years ago, that he would maybe try to seek moving back down to America. He's up in Canada, and possibly go out west to play in LA, whether it's the Lakers, the favorite, or the Clippers. But no, he's like, I want to stay here. I want to be king of the North. But now the Raptors have said, bon voyage, and we'll see you next time. And they're bringing in Kawhi Leonard. And this is interesting in the fact that many pundits, many critics, fans want to criticize players for not being loyal to these teams. Hey, where's the loyalty at? This is what I hate about the NBA. This is a business. Sports is nothing more than an entertainment business. And for the longest time, teams ran the show as far as who you played for, where you went, when they moved you. But now players have that power. And yes, that is disrupting the status quo, so to speak, of what we are generally used to. But it's also showing us that, hey, these players now with the power, they're forcing teams to say, hey, you better get it together, or I'm going to leave on my own, or I'm going to force my way out of here, because I'll be damned if I waste my career not winning, getting criticized, and not achieving the ultimate goal of competing for a championship and winning one year in and year out. DeRozan was like, hey, I like what we're doing here. I want to stay here. But the team is like, well, we've been in good positions the past couple seasons, and we've still come up short. And we have a chance to land such a great player in Kawhi Leonard, former Finals MVP, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, multiple-time All-Star, all-defensive team, one of the best, if not the best, two-way player in the NBA. So we're going to take that chance. We'll bring him up here, hopefully with our franchise, our fan base, the city, and how things run up here. Hopefully that would be enough to maybe entice Kawhi to want to re-sign. Now, early reports are saying that Leonard has no desire to stay in Toronto, so Toronto might just be getting him for a 1-year rental. But I'll tell you what, if that 1-year rental comes with going to the NBA Finals, potentially winning a championship, I get it. They got to play the Warriors most likely. So the chance of that happening is highly unlikely. But still, for that city, if they were to make it to the NBA Finals, that would be huge. That might be enough for them to say, yeah, let's do it. In Toronto, we've all seen when they play road games, how they have the fan base all outside cheering and the support that's behind them. You got Drake, Ryan Reynolds, and Gosling. You never know. Kawhi might change his mind and say, you know what? Maple syrup ain't that bad, eh? So it is going to be something to pay attention to this year. It does add another wrinkle to this NBA season and say, you know what? Maybe it's not going to be just a wasted season that the Warriors are just going to run through everybody. Maybe we're going to see some pretty interesting storylines unfold. For DeMar DeRozan, now that he's going to be in San Antonio under the tutelage of great coach Greg Popovich, he's got LaMarcus Aldridge there as well down low. This could be a blessing in disguise for him, because one of the criticisms behind him is, hey, his jump shot is good, but it's not perfect. His three-point shot is really not up to par just yet for an elite level talent. And defensively, he does have some woes there on that side of the court. But now that he's got Greg Popovich there in that San Antonio system, if he takes to this move and puts in the work and puts in the work both in the gym, on the court, and with his team that we know that he's shown in Toronto, he really could blossom into being a better player than what he already is. This is a player who last year, not this past season, but the season before, averaged 27 points. Now he went down to 23 this year, and that's normally where he's about. But still, he's shown, hey, I can get buckets. I can go out there and be a terrific, top-notch player. He just hasn't made it up there just yet. Maybe under this new leadership from Greg Popovich and the Spurs, he could reach that. So on both sides, I wouldn't necessarily say there's a winner or a loser. Toronto probably is going to be the loser if Kawhi just leaves after 1 year. I mean, you get Danny Green in the process, but outside of that finals run against the Cavs and his three-point shooter was on fire, what do you really get in there? You giving up a first-round draft pick? Okay, that could turn into something. We'll see how that all works out. But again, if the Toronto Raptors can make the NBA Finals, maybe they're not necessarily losers. That'll be huge feather in their cap. And that'll be something to say, hey, you know what? We can build off of that. We're not getting a lot of free agents here as often as we would like. Maybe with this run, okay, maybe this can hopefully be the trickle-down effect to get people to say, you know what? Toronto actually is a pretty good spot. And for Kawhi Leonard, hey, if he doesn't like Toronto, fair enough. Okay, a little too cold. Totally understandable. It'll be interesting to see how he goes about this season. Does he play the majority of the season and try to show people that, yes, I'm still a top-notch player? Does he kind of half-ass it and call it in halfway through the season and just like, man, I just can't wait to get to sunny California? We shall see. But this is a huge trade, huge move. And you know what? It's another wrinkle into this NBA offseason to say, hey, pretty doggone interesting. Sometimes we don't get these many big news in the NBA offseason. So that is something to enjoy right there. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning into the video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And be sure to follow me on Twitter at KLUA11. That's KLUA11. And the sports page on Facebook. All Things Sports. That is All Things Sports on Facebook. So next time around, everybody, peace.